You describe Christianity and Judaism as inherently different, but they're both founded upon the Old Testament. What differentiates Christianity in your eyes?
That's a great question. Wow. Off to a great start. The foundations are the same, but a lot like certain trees that have the same foundations or root systems, you're going to see some differences. There might be some similarities that make them look alike, but ultimately it's the growth, the outgrowth of it that's different. And how it's different is this, is that both Christianity and Judaism, and by the way, to say Judaism is a little bit of a misnomer because there's Judaisms, plural. There's various sort of iterations of it. There's a liberal Judaism, there's a conservative, there's rabbinic, different kinds of things. But essentially, when you look at the Old Testament specifically, what you'll see is that there's this nation of Israel which is established to be the progenitor of the Messiah who is to come. And that Messiah is to bring peace on earth and deliverance to all peoples, all nations, not just the Jews, but all nations. That's in the Old Testament. And you see prophecies of this in Isaiah 53, in Psalm 22, in Psalm 110. You see all these different places where there's prophecy of a Messiah who is to come. Then the Christians would say that Jesus was in fact that Messiah, that he came on the scene as the incarnation of God, and he lived a perfect life to fulfill the Messiah's role, not just as the king, as a conquering king, but as a lowly servant. In fact, in early Judaism, right around the time, right before Jesus' time, there were two different disputes, or there was one dispute about who the Messiah would actually be. One of those was, will the Messiah be Messiah ben David, the Messiah, son of David, who would be a conquering king like David was, a warrior king? The others said, no, when we read the scriptures, the Old Testament, it looks like he is Messiah ben Joseph. He is the son of suffering, because Joseph was one who suffered unjustly and eventually triumphed, not through violence or conquering, but through just faithfulness. So he could be Messiah ben Joseph. So for a long time, they were wrestling with, is the Messiah going to be like David, or will he be like Joseph? And along comes this Jesus who comes and says, yes, it'll be both. He'll be the suffering servant on the cross, but he will be the coming king when he comes back in his return. So the chief difference really between Judaism and Christianity is essentially who the Messiah actually is. Was Jesus in fact that Messiah? Most Jews, not all Jews, present company excluded, but for that matter, would say that Jesus is not the Messiah. But Jews who do believe in Jesus, Messianic Jews, would say he is in fact the Messiah. And what it means for him to be the Messiah is not that he ushers in temple sacrifice again and rebuilds the temple and all that. Rather, he is the one who is the ultimate fulfillment of all sacrifices, so that there's no more need for the sacrifices, and that the law is not abolished in the sense that it was bad, but it is actually fulfilled and no longer necessary to understand your place in God's economy. So you see the differences is Judaism starts with the hope of the Messiah and then says that he's not yet come. Christianity starts with the hope of the Messiah based in the same book and then says he in fact has come and has proven himself to be who he was in the person of Christ. That's the fundamental difference. And what does it mean for him to be the Messiah?